Hello all, welcome to blockchain and smart contracts architecture. Today we'll be discussing about future of cryptocurrency. So in the future of cryptocurrency, we will be mainly covering about the Bitcoin part. And Bitcoin is actually the very first application of the blockchain technology. So let us see like how this Bitcoin has played a very vital role in the blockchain technology. So we will be discussing today about the future of Bitcoin and why do we actually need to learn about the Bitcoin concept. Bitcoin is one of the very first application of the blockchain technology, and this Bitcoin has evolved in the year 2008, and it's been 12 years of its journey, and we could see that the value of one Bitcoin today is 8 lakh rupee approximately. One Bitcoin is approximately 8 lakh. Imagine the potentiality of this Bitcoin. Let us dive into this Bitcoin and we will see what is the future of it. We at Odin School help you to continuously acquire new skills with all the latest technologies. Let me introduce about me. I am Prashant Sahu. I am a certified blockchain expert and Solidity developer from Blockchain Council, having a total 4 years of experience into this blockchain domain. I have been a speaker, a trainer and a guide to the latest technologies like blockchain and cloud. If you find this video useful, please like and subscribe to our channel for more such videos, playlists and tutorials. Let us start the today's session. So what we are going to cover today? So we are going to cover like how Bitcoin is actually being considered as a global cryptocurrency, and then later we will be discussing about Bitcoin mining, how Bitcoin mining actually plays a very vital role, and then later again we are going to analyze each and every transaction in a wallet. How actually wallet looks like, where you are going to store your Bitcoin, how we are going to make sure that we can use all these Bitcoins. All these things will be explained in this future of cryptocurrency Bitcoin. So let us dive and make sure that whatever we are trying to learn, we will try to implement that practically also. What is Bitcoin? So before I explain you what is Bitcoin, I just want to make sure that everybody of you have one common misconception. Now what is that? Many people think that Bitcoin and blockchain both are same. Many people actually they try to think that Bitcoin and blockchain are same. So when I ask some of my colleagues, so they say that hey Prashant, that Bitcoin and blockchain are same, right? So I just say no, Bitcoin and blockchain are not the same. For this I would just try to say the one of the best example, like if I would say your Microsoft Windows, that operating system which you are trying to use, your operating system that is Windows, it may be 7, 8 or 10, whatever it may be. Can I say your Windows and your Excel or your PowerPoint or your Word are same? Then you would say no, they are not the same. Then what are those? They are the application of the OS, that may be Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10. So they are the applications of your operating system. So in the same way, blockchain is a technology, and under that we have an application called as Bitcoin. So many people think that this Bitcoin which is actually present here, Bitcoin and the blockchain are same. No, they are not at all same. That is a false statement. The people who try to say that Bitcoin and blockchain are same, please try to make them correct that both of them are not the same. Bitcoin is the application of the blockchain technology, and it is one of the very first application of the blockchain technology. Now you may think that do we have only one application related to blockchain, that is only Bitcoin? Then I would say no. Bitcoin is the first application of the blockchain technology. Along with Bitcoin, as it's been 12 years of its existence, the Bitcoin, right? So there are so many other applications are also been present related to our blockchain technology. Now what are those? If you could see here, the very first application was the Bitcoin, and then later we got Ethereum, Waves, and then Ripple. Now there are still so many other latest applications which have been using the blockchain technology. So the very first application is your Bitcoin. So we are going to discuss about Bitcoin in this particular module, where you will be getting to know each and everything related to Bitcoin. So one thing which became clear here, what is that? Your Bitcoin which is actually present. So Bitcoin is your first application of what? It is your first application of your blockchain technology. Okay, so this is the first application of your blockchain technology. Along with this, there are also so many other applications which are available in the market. So it all depends on you, like what type of cryptocurrency you want to use it. But there are various applications related to blockchain. So when I say blockchain is a technology, that means everybody of them, okay, whatever application which is actually present here, all of them need to follow the rules of the blockchain. There are certain rules which are present inside the blockchain. You can call it as a rules, properties, characteristics, whatever it may be. So you should not go out of those properties. If you are going out of those properties, that indicates that you are not using the blockchain technology. So if you want to use the blockchain technology, then you should use the properties of the blockchain technology. So if you want to know about the properties of the blockchain which I have explained, so you can just go to the first series which I have explained about the properties of blockchain, where you will be getting all the properties related to the blockchain what I have explained. So then you can get to know what are the related properties relevant to this latest technology, that is blockchain. So next, I just want to say one more important thing from here. So in one single line, I would say to you that blockchain is a technology. Under this blockchain technology, we have various applications being laid, and one of the very first application of the blockchain technology is Bitcoin. Now when I say Bitcoin, there should be some founder for this, right? Somebody who have come up with this idea. It may be through his white paper, or it may be through the marketing, whatever it may be. Okay, whatever it may be, but there should be some founder who has found out this concept. Now let us go and find out who is that founder. So now I would say the Bitcoin's founder is Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin's founder is Satoshi Nakamoto, who is the founder of this Bitcoin. Because in the white paper which was written about this Bitcoin concept, it was written by Satoshi Nakamoto. But here there is a small twist. Now what is the twist? Nobody knows that who this Satoshi Nakamoto is. Nobody. It was just mentioned as Satoshi Nakamoto, but till now nobody know about who this Satoshi Nakamoto is, whether he is an individual or whether is it any organization. I mean to say, like a set of people who have framed up this idea, but the identity is not revealed till now. The identity which is actually present, it is not yet revealed. But yes, there was one interesting thing which they have found out is this Bitcoin has come up from Japan. Now when I say it has come up from Japan, that means they identified that yes, this person who is Satoshi, who is present, right? So this Satoshi actually belongs to Japan. This is the only one thing they have found out, but who this person was, it was never been identified. Till today they have not identified who this founder is. So it is pseudonymous. The person who has written this Bitcoin white paper's identity is not revealed, and nobody knows about it. And whether this person is still alive or is he dead, nobody knows about it. So that's how the mystery lies behind this Bitcoin. But nevertheless, he has written such a quality white paper that even after 12 years, it's been the 12 years, right? Still the Bitcoin is running too good, and it has went up to 8 lakh. Imagine the level of idea which this person has actually written in that white paper. So people are right now not bothered that who this founder is, but until and unless the application is going very well, then people are more concerned about how to apply the Bitcoin into their own businesses rather than finding out the mystery, that is who is the founder of this paper. Okay, so if you could see here, as we could see from this picture, this is your blockchain. Whatever which is mentioned here, this is what we actually call it as a blockchain, and whatever data which is present inside the blockchain, it gets distributed. So I have covered this part in my first series, that is properties of the blockchain. So you could find out there like what is a distributed mechanism. All the data which is present inside the blockchain, it gets distributed because it is one of the important property of the blockchain, which we call it as distributed and decentralized. Okay, so this is one of the important property of the blockchain technology. So what did we get to know from this particular slide? That Satoshi Nakamoto, who is the founder of the Bitcoin, his identity is not revealed. If you could see this magazine, Times magazine has declared him man of the year. In the year 2015, they declared him as a man of the year, and the person's identity is not revealed because nobody knows about it. If you could see here, it is Bitcoin founder is Satoshi Nakamoto, but nobody knows who this Satoshi Nakamoto is. And till now, the identity is not revealed yet. So let us go and see how that white paper looks like. When I am trying to say Bitcoin white paper, Satoshi Nakamoto, now what did this person actually have written? So each and every one of you should actually need to understand that how did this person has actually written that paper. Whenever you get your time, just do go there and visit the white paper of this person who has actually written the concept of Bitcoin. Now let me show that. So here, this is what is the paper which is written by Satoshi Nakamoto. If you could see this paper, right, it is Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It is a white paper which was written in the year 2008 in the month of October. Why 2008? I have covered that in my first series, where I clearly said that it is because of economical recession which is done by the banks. Due to the banks, we had a severe economical recession in the year 2008, and then this person came up with his new idea. That's what we call a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, where there will be no third party or intermediaries being involved. And if you could see here, Satoshi Nakamoto, and he has never revealed his identity. See his. So he just kept this ID, but never we got a response, and there was no organization who actually found out this ID. And he has given the website www.bitcoin.org, and this is the main website for the Bitcoin organization, and this is managed by the Bitcoin community. www.bitcoin.org is actually maintained by the Bitcoin community. So here he has written a wonderful abstract where it actually tries to say the entire idea of the Bitcoin. So whenever you get time, just go and try to explore this entire paper. So this is one single paper which is actually generating a value of almost 8 lakh rupee. At one time in the year 2015, the value went up to 35 lakhs. One Bitcoin value went up to 35 lakhs. Imagine the level of importance which this paper is actually having. So whenever you do get time, please go and try to explore this paper, and it is one of the best paper which was actually written in this cryptocurrency part as well as in the blockchain part. So this is one of the crystal clear paper where each and everything has been explained very clearly. So till now what we have covered, let me just explain it. So I would say first thing is Bitcoin. right? We just discussed about Bitcoin. And what is the Bitcoin? It is our first application. It is our first application of blockchain technology. So this is our Bitcoin. And then later I said that, is Bitcoin and blockchain are the same? No, they are not the same. So blockchain is technology. Your blockchain which is actually present, it is a technology. And under this we have Bitcoin, which is an application. So Bitcoin is an application, whereas blockchain is a technology. So this is one of the important thing which you need to understand. And then later we discussed about Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi, I would just say it in short, Satoshi. And this person is actually, it is pseudonymous. We don't know who this person is. His identity is not revealed yet. His identity is actually not revealed yet. So that is the most important thing. So these are three important things actually which you need to understand. I hope you have understood whatever I have covered till now. So let me go ahead and try to explore one more new concept. So before I explore that concept, let me just take a small scenario and try to help you out, and then later I will take you to that new concept. So let me say, generally, that is in the traditional way, what happens, let me say that I want to actually transfer certain amount of money to my friend. Let me say if I am here and I want to transfer certain amount of money to my friend. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm transferring a money, okay, that may be 100 rupee or 200, whatever it may be. It all depends on how much amount of transaction you are going to do. But let me say if I want to do a transaction with my friend, I need this currency. Now you may think about this, who creates this currency? Anyhow, you have 100 rupee right now, but you should think about it. Who creates this currency? Now there should be someone who creates this currency in order to make sure that I am trying to use this currency. So who creates the currency in India? It is RBI, because RBI is the organization which takes care of all the minting process, minting of currencies, and then it circulates it to the banks, and then from the banks it gets into the market. So this is a general methodology which we follow traditionally. It is your RBI, from your RBI to all the banks, your private banks as well as your semi-government banks, and then it will be coming to your market. And in the market, who will be present? Every one of us. In the market, that means you, me, and then all of us, okay, everybody who is present, right, we all will exist in this market. So then the circulation will happen. Whenever it is getting completed, again the RBI goes for the same mechanism, it mints the money, and then the same methodology is being followed. So this is the methodology traditionally we try to follow. And here some people may think that, let me say money is completed, then again RBI will print as much as they can. No, there will always be a limit, putting the inflation into consideration. They are going to mint only as per the limit what they have to do it. They can't do whatever they wish. So we need to understand that important point here. So now what are they trying to do? If you remember, I said one important point, that is minting. So if they want to bring the currency out, they have to go for the minting process. So once they mint the currencies, then the RBI is going to distribute it to banks and then to market. This is a regulated environment. Now in the case of India, it is RBI. Maybe if you go to any other country, so they will have their main organizations. It may be if you take US, they will be having a federal bank. So in the same way, all of the countries are going to have their own respective organizations which takes care of minting the coins. Minting the coins, minting the currencies, all it's the responsibility of that respective organization. Now the important point here is they are trying to mint, but whereas in the case of cryptocurrencies, okay, at the other end I am trying to explain you related to cryptocurrencies. Now in the case of cryptocurrencies, we don't have any I mean to say any authority over here or any regulator. There is no third parties are being involved here. Let me say if you want to do a transaction, then you can do it directly. Okay, you can do it directly without any third party. Now here, indirectly, when I'm saying your money you are trying to transfer, it is from your RBI you are trying to get that. That is your organization. But here there will be no such organization who acts like an authority saying that I have minted it. No, there is no such concept in cryptocurrency, because blockchain itself says that it should not support any third parties or intermediaries, and that is one of the important point inside the technology. Now when I say blockchain, Bitcoin is the application of the blockchain technology, then it is very clear that there should not be any third parties and intermediaries, because Bitcoin is one of the application of the blockchain technology. So here you will not find anything like RBI or any such organization which tries to do minting for you. No. But one important thing which we need to understand from here is the mining process. The mining still lives here. Here also the minting is there, right? It's similar to mining only. The process, whatever is present here, right? That process is still present here. But we will not have any such organization like RBI, banks, and then market. This concept is not present here. Yes, we do mining. Okay, so important point from here which you need to understand is there is a concept called as mining. Now when you want to do transfer of bitcoins to your friend, then there should be bitcoins in the market, right? If there is no bitcoin in the market, then how would you transfer that bitcoin to your friend? So there should be a market circulation even in the cryptocurrency also. It is the same for all. If it is Bitcoin, if it is Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever coin it may be. If the coin is not coming out in the market, then there will be no circulation. So for that we need to do mining process. So mining is nothing but what we are trying to do is whatever coins or whatever cryptocurrencies which are actually present inside, let me say, a locker, we need to bring that out from that respective locker, and then we need to circulate it in the market. So once we circulate it in the market, then everybody can use it. If there is no bitcoins or if there is no any other coin, then you can't use that coins. So in order to make sure that all those coins will be circulated in the market, so we need to make sure that mining process is involved. If this mining process is not involved, then you will never have any cryptocurrencies. It may be your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Litecoin, whatever it may be. Only difference between the traditional mechanism and the using the blockchain mechanism is here you have some third party or the biggest organization or authority like RBI. But here you will not be having any such organization or authoritative power which sits and says that I am going to do mining. But who is going to do mining then? Immediately this question may arise in your mind, right? Thinking that then who is going to do mining here? Let me explain you that in the presentation. So you will get a clear clarity that what actually I am trying to say. So let me go to presentation and try to explain you what is the next concept. Now we know one important thing, that what is that? Mining process, right? What did we say? Yes, mining is going to happen because we want to bring the cryptocurrency out. It may be Bitcoin or Ethereum or maybe your Litecoin. But as we are discussing about Bitcoin, so we will talk in terms of Bitcoin. So if you want your Bitcoin to come out, right, what you need to do? You need to do mining. Now let me explain you that how actually this mining works. Okay, so let me just explain you clearly. Let me say there are some people, okay, there are some people whom we call it as miners. Now again one more question may arise in your mind. Now what is that? How to become a miner? If you want to become a miner, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you get an appropriate license from the Bitcoin community. You need to get an appropriate license from the Bitcoin community to become a miner. Now imagine that there are some miners like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there are 5 miners. Now these 5 miners who are present in real life, we will not have 5 miners, there are millions of miners. Okay, you can just take it in form of millions of miners are going to get that cryptocurrency out. Now how they are going to make sure that that cryptocurrency comes out, let me explain you very clearly here. So let us take an example of there are 5 miners who are available. Now there is a box which is available here. Now inside this box there is a gold. Okay, now inside this box there is a gold, and now I say there are 5 miners who want to crack this box, and the person who is going to crack this box, he will be getting the gold. Okay, again I am repeating, there are 5 miners who want to crack this box. So how they are going to crack the box? There is some lock here. So they need to crack the lock of this respective box, inside which we have a gold present. So now all of them are actually trying, right? All of them will try to make sure that they can win the right lock, and so that they can win the entire gold. Now in this process, each and every one of them will try to get that correct key to make sure that they can win the respective gold which is present inside that block. So now what are they going to do? All of them are in the process of mining. That means mining means they are actually trying to find out the lock, and once they find out this lock which is present here, right, if that matches, then they are going to crack that block, and then the gold will be taken away by them. Simple. This is the simple example. So now let me say the fourth person. Okay, the person who is actually present here, his key number 39586, his key matches with the key which is present inside the block. Okay, whatever box which is actually present here. So this box key which is present, right, this matches with this fourth miner. So once this matches, right, then immediately he will get access to this respective box, and then he can take the gold which is actually present inside it. And this is what we simply call it as mining. Mining means nothing but, let me say that there is a box. Now inside that box I say that there is a lots of gold available. Now all of you, what you try to do, you try to crack that key to make sure that you can get all the gold which is present inside that respective box. So all of you would try to do that. Now in that process, the person who is going to crack that key, he will win all the gold. So here the fourth miner has won the correct key. So now he is the winner. So now when I say he is the winner, then what he is going to get it? Let me explain you that in the next slide. So if you could see here, this is the fourth miner. Okay, when I say here this is the fourth miner, because from the previous slide we could see that the fourth miner has won the box. Now the box has been opened. Now from the box, what did this person get? Let me say this is your gold. Okay, so this is a general analogy which I have explained. There are certain people whom we call it as miners. Okay, so let me just go to one more time the previous slide so that you can get a clear idea of it. Yeah, so if you could see here, so there are certain amount of miners who are available here. So 1 2 3 4 5 miners. Okay, so these 5 miners, what they're actually trying to do, they are trying to win this box. I mean to say the key which is present inside that respective box, they are actually trying to find it out. So now once they find out that key, then all the gold will belong to them. So this is what I've explained it, right? And then later what did I say? I said like the fourth miner who actually won that respective key, then the box will automatically be opened, and then the gold will be credited to him. So now we will compare it with our Bitcoin, the same analogy what I have explained it. Okay, so now when I say that this miner has actually won, so here what did he actually try to do? This box is actually call it as Bitcoin software. Okay, so this is what we call it as Bitcoin software. All the miners will actually try to target this Bitcoin software, and Bitcoin software, it actually tries to sets up certain keys. Now all these miners need to find out this key, and the respective miner who is going to crack this key, he is going to bring that Bitcoin out. So then the Bitcoin will be coming out. So the miners are responsible here to bring the Bitcoin out from the respective Bitcoin software. That means here the Bitcoins are actually stored inside the Bitcoin software. Now who is the founder of this Bitcoin software? It is the same person whom we call as Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto is the founder of the Bitcoin software, and this person is responsible to create this software. And from this software you can generate the Bitcoin by using the mining methodology, or you can say mining process. So by using this mining process, the person or maybe the miner who is going to crack this box, he is eligible to make sure that he can bring that Bitcoin out. Now when I say it is box, now technically we call this as your Bitcoin software. The person who is going to crack the key from this Bitcoin software, that miner can actually try to bring that Bitcoin out. So this is how the mining process actually happen. So let me explain you in one single line so that you can clearly understand what I'm actually trying to say. Mining is nothing but there are set of miners. It may be 5 miners, 10, it all depends like how many people are actually trying to participate in it. Then we will be having a Bitcoin software. Now all these people will try to target that Bitcoin software because Bitcoin software is actually having that key, as I explained the box concept. Now the miner who is going to crack that key which matches with your Bitcoin software, then that person is gonna be declared as the person in the sense a miner who can actually try to bring that cryptocurrency, that is nothing but your Bitcoin, out from your Bitcoin software. So he is the miner who can actually try to bring that Bitcoin out. Why he is the only person? Let me say if there are 10 people, then why he is the only person who can bring this Bitcoin out? Because the main reason is he is the person who cracked that key which the Bitcoin software has actually set up. For that reason, I would say that that miner actually wins and he has the right to bring that coins out. And this methodology happens for every 10 minutes. Okay, for every 10 minutes it happens. And it is not standard, it is average time. Okay, average time. Let me say somebody may ask me that within 7 minutes if it gets completed, then what is the thing? Yes, if within 7 minutes if it is completed, again from then it's going to start, because as I said, average time is 10 minutes. I didn't say standard. Okay, so average time is 10 minutes. For every 10 minutes the same process keeps on happening. Okay, so every 10 minutes what is going to happen? Your Bitcoin software is going to set a key, and then each and every one of the miners are going to crack that key. For every 10 minutes this process happens, and the person who is going to win that respective key, he is the miner who is responsible to bring that Bitcoin out from the Bitcoin software. Now for that we have certain tools. Now for this to do, we have actually certain tools. You just can't do it like you can't calculate in your mind saying that okay, this is the key which I am thinking of, let me put it forward. No, it is not like that. For that we have certain types of tools. Now let me show you that what is that respective tool. So there is something called as bitminter.com, and here this is your Bitminter mining pool. Okay, if you could see, this is your Bitminter mining pool. Let me just zoom it. Yeah, so there is something called as tools here. So if we go to tools and then if we click on Bitminter client, so it says, so this is how your Bitminter, you can install it in your own laptop. You can install this Bitminter client in your own laptop and you can do mining process. So if you see, first thing is your Java needs to be installed first, because this runs at the backend with the Java mechanism. So first the Java should be installed. But I would suggest that please don't try to use this. I'm just showing it so that you can understand like how the tool looks like. But you please don't try to do this. The reason is, this is something like when Bitcoin was started in the year 2008, right? It was very useful at that time. But after 12 years, its computation speed has increased a lot. Now with a normal CPU using your laptop and your desktop, if you do mining, right, it will ruin your system, but you will never get I mean to say, like, you are never going to get a chance to make sure that you can bring those bitcoins out from the Bitcoin software. You can't do that. So that's the reason I'm trying to say, I'm just showing you to make sure that you can actually understand that what is the mining, okay, what is the mining tool. For that reason I'm actually trying to show this. Otherwise there is no purpose, because if you could see here, it's gonna shut down, because at the initial state it was in full demand. Right now we are using special type of equipments like GPUs, your graphical processing unit, and then we are using ASIC, application specific integrated circuit. Now those are the trending, okay, those are actually in trending. Now these tools are actually been obsolete. It is of no use right now. So please don't try to install this, because if you install it, what is going to happen is it is going to ruin your system, because it is going to take a lot of space, and then at the same time it makes your system slow. Based on my experience I'm trying to say. So if you want, you can do it, there is no problem at all, but you can do it only if you make sure that whatever laptop you have as a spare laptop, which you think that it is of no use, then you can go ahead and try to install this respective Bitminter client. Okay, so but how it actually looks like, let me show you. So it basically looks like this. So if you could see your if you could see the screen, so here it shows how your mining key could be found out. Okay, so this is your speed, the hash rates which is actually present here, right? So this is your speed, with how much amount of speed you want to find out your key, because if you find it out first, then you will be the winner. Otherwise you will not be the winner in the sense, the person who is going to win that key. Okay, the person is going to win that key in order to make sure that you can bring that Bitcoin out. Now in this process you may think that, okay, I am doing all these things, but what is the advantage for me as a miner? So I would say yes, there is an advantage where you will be given some amount of reward. Bitcoin software will give you some reward in terms of Bitcoin for finding out that respective key. Yeah, this doubt will definitely come to you, because you may think that, okay, I am doing all these things, but what is the advantage for me then? So I would say that yes, there is an advantage for you. The moment you try to get that respective key which is set by the Bitcoin software, then immediately you will be given certain amount of reward from the Bitcoin software in terms of Bitcoin. Okay, so this all depends like how fast you are going to find it out. So this is how, when you try to install it, right, when you try to install your Bitminter client, which I have shown it right now, so interface looks like this. Okay, your user interface, basically it looks like this. Once your Java has been installed successfully, then you will see your Bitminter client working like this. But it is not going to give you any profits. Okay, you are not going to win at all, because this method has become obsolete. It is of no use right now. Okay, so I hope you got a clear clarity whatever I have said right now. So let me just delete it. Yeah, so this is your Bitminter. We call this as a Bitminter client. Okay, now let me again show you one more important thing. Now many people may think that by seeing all these things, you may think I want to invest in Bitcoin. Now many people, they come to me and ask me this question: hey Prashant, I want to invest in Bitcoin, can you suggest me some wallets? So I would say yes, rather than I wasting my time, I will say that use this respective tool and then find out what you want to do. Now today I want to put it here. What is that? So let me say this is buybitcoinworldwide.com. You may stay in US, you may stay in India, or you may stay in Australia. In any part you stay, okay, in this respective world, you can use this buybitcoinworldwide.com, and you can find out in your respective place where you are trying to stay what type of wallets are actually available. Now let me say I am staying in India, so let me click India. Okay, in country I am just selecting India. Now it's asking me, please select the payment method. Like, what is the payment method which you want to use in order to buy your Bitcoin? It may be your cash transfer or your bank or maybe a credit card or a debit card. Let me see. So there are so many payment methods. Now if I want to choose bank transfer, for example, that is I want to go to bank and I want to transfer it, then you will see that we have Vazurex, CoinMama, Kraken, UnoCoin, ATM. So these are the wallet services which are actually available. And one of the best thing of this is it's gonna show you what are the pros and what are the cons of this respective wallet. And then it totally depends on you whether you want to choose the Vazurex or you want to choose, let me say, CoinMama. So how you're going to identify or judge whether which one is the best, it all depends on your pros and cons and then your amount of research which you're going to put it on top of that respective wallet. Okay, so now let me say I don't want to use a bank transfer, I want to go and use something else. Let me say I want to use a credit card. And if you want to use credit card in India and you want to purchase bitcoins, then we have CoinMama available. Okay, it's only CoinMama which is actually available. So you can just click on CoinMama and then you can try to find out like what are the pros and then what are the cons of it. Okay, so if you want to use the services of the CoinMama, you can just click on it and then it will be redirected you to the wallet and then you can use your account. Okay, and then so in the same way you can use any payment channel which you want to use. For example, if I would say I have already selected credit card, I want to use debit. Yeah, so this is my debit card, and even in India we have only CoinMama available for both credit and debit card. Now let me say I want to do a cash transfer. Yeah, this is my cash. So we have ATM and then we have Bitcoin ATMs, Mycelium local trader. So these are the services which are available in India based on what payment method you are actually going to choose it. So that's also one of the important thing, and this is Buy Bitcoin Worldwide, where you are going to find out in whatever country you are actually staying based on your country. Now let me say I just want to select one more country. For example, if I want to show, like if I would say okay, so let me say Australia. Yeah, so I just got in Australia. So we found 7 Bitcoin exchanges in Australia that are going to accept the cash. And if you could see here, CoinSpot, CoinJar, Buy a Bitcoin, there are so many other services, wallet services if I would say. Now here you may get confused. What is this wallet? Why is Prashant trying to say wallet? Now what is this wallet actually? So when I say wallet, it is simply like the people who are staying in India, you may know about GPay, that's a Google Pay, or you use Phone Pay, right? In the same way, the people are staying in other parts of the country, you may also be using your own wallet to transfer money. Either it may be your dollar or either it may be your euros, pound, yen, whatever it may be. So you use certain type of applications to make sure that you can try to do transfer of money to the other person. So in the same way, wallet is used here to transfer your bitcoins from one person to another person, and then you can store your bitcoins in a wallet. Let me say if anybody asks you like where do we need to store bitcoins, where can we store, let me say if I have 2 bitcoins, where are those 2 bitcoins? Now those 2 bitcoins will be stored inside a wallet. Traditionally what happens, whatever money you have in your respective bank, right? But here in the case of cryptocurrencies, you have wallets available. So inside your wallets, you are going to put all your cryptocurrencies. Okay, so whatever cryptocurrencies are available, all those cryptocurrencies will be kept in a wallet. Now how the wallet looks like, let me explain you that. So blockchain.com is one wallet. Okay, this is blockchain.com which is actually present here. This is a wallet. So this is a basic wallet. The people who want to start investing in Bitcoin or maybe in any other cryptocurrency, for you this is the best one, blockchain.com wallet. If you want to create your wallet, you can just click on this button and you can create your wallet. It will just ask you some basic information of yours and then your identity. It may be your national identity, whatever you are going to have, you can just submit it and then you can make sure that you can use the services of blockchain.com wallet. Now let me go ahead and log in. So let us see what it is going to do. So once if I log in, because once you create your wallet, right, you will be able to log in. So you will be given one unique wallet ID. A respective wallet ID will be assigned to you all. So let me click on login. Okay. Okay, I think the wallet ID has been changed, mine. Okay, let me just refresh it once. Okay, so I think my wallet ID has been changed because I have taken up a new ID. So what we can do is, you can just take the respective wallet ID and you can put your own password here. Okay, you can just put up your own password, and once the password is been available, you can just click on the login button. So once you log in, you will be seeing all your wallet details. Wallet in the sense, it would be simply like a normal wallet where you could see all your coins being available. If you have any coins in your account, then you can see that. If not, you will not be in a position to see that. Okay, so now let me just go and show like how you can do Bitcoin trading. So this is something which you will be interested as a cryptocurrency trader, because trading is one of the most interesting thing in this cryptocurrencies. So here, this is the trading platform. So we have something called as localbitcoins.com. So this is one of the trading platform. Let me say I want to buy some bitcoins. Okay, let me say I want to buy some bitcoins. Now, if you could see here, there are some people who do trading. That means they sell it off. Okay, now these people are sellers. Now what you can do, you can go and purchase from them. So now what they're trying to show, they're trying to show the limits. Okay, they're actually trying to show the limits. Now this seller is trying to say my limit is 10,000 to 80,000. Within this range, if you want any bitcoins, then you can just go and click on this buy button, then I can help you out. Okay, now let me say you want to purchase at least 1 lakh worth of bitcoin. Okay, 1 lakh rupee worth of bitcoin if you want to purchase, then I think these persons will not be eligible because they are having the range of only 30, 80 and all. But yes, these people are eligible here. 3 lakh, 1 lakh 40,000, and again this person is not eligible. Now let me say if I just click on a buy button, let me click on this buy button, and then if I say I want 50,000 worth of bitcoin, so then I will be getting 0.054 worth of bitcoin related to 50,000 if I try to put it in INR, that is Indian National Rupee. So then based on that, what you're going to get, you're going to get this bitcoins which is worth of 50,000 from this respective trader, that is Super BTC. Now what is this BTC? BTC is the denomination for the bitcoin. BTC is a denomination for the bitcoin. So this is how you can actually try to make sure that you can do some trading. You can actually sell, or you can actually try to buy. Let me say if the limit is low, then it says that the smallest amount you can buy from this is 49,000, because the trade limit itself is from 49,000 to 3,46,250. Okay, so let me again just go back, and this is how you can actually try to buy. Now if you want to make sure that you can sell, right here there is a sell option, you can sell it off. Let me say if I click on this sell button, and if I have some amount of bitcoins with me, okay, let me say the range here is 90,000 to 50 lakh. Now what I can do is, let me say I want to sell it off 20,000 bitcoins. I mean to say 20,000 worth of bitcoin. It's not going to take because minimum is 90,000. Now let me say I want 95,000. Okay, so you can sell it off. That means 95,000 rupee worth of bitcoin is 0.106, and you can sell it off, and then you will be getting in return in INR, that's 95,000 rupee. So this is how you can actually try to do trading, a local trading. In India, if you want to do a local trading, localbitcoins.com. In the same way, in other countries also, we will be having some localbitcoin.com where you can do locally without going to the main exchanges, because in the main exchanges again there will be certain amount of fee would be deducted again for exchange rate and everything. So it's better that we try to use the local traders where we can actually try to get the money without any exchange cost to be deducted. Okay, so now later. So I hope you have understood about the trading concept, and then later I also explained about the buybitcoinworldwide.com, where you could see in which country what type of wallets are available. Okay, and then you can go ahead and try to create your own wallet. So how you can create your wallet is, you can just go and click on blockchain. Okay, you can just say blockchain wallet. So if the moment you try to click on the blockchain wallet, so you can go to any wallet, it may be the blockchain.com, see here. So okay, blockchain.com wallet, and let me click on here. If you want, you can click on get started. Now let me click on the login button here. Let me try one more time. I think it has to work. Okay, so it's not taking. I need to set up my own password, but nevertheless, when I get a chance, I'll again try to show you. So only thing is, once the wallet ID is given to you, okay, I mean to say, like, again I have to set up. It will go to my Gmail account. I have to go there, and then I need to set up my own password, and then I can click on login. Okay, so then you can see how the wallet basically looks like. So let us go back to our presentation. So we are ahead of mining concept. Now the mining part is totally completed. Now let me explain what is this public and private key. So this public and private key, which is actually present here, right? So this public and private key is same like your account number. Your public key is like your account number, and then your private key is like your password. So this is never shared to anybody. Private key you should not share to anyone at any cost. If you are trying to share, then you are at the risk. That means all your money which is present inside the wallet, it will be taken away. Simply it will be taken away. So your private key should be preserved with you, and it should not be shared with anyone. Okay, so this is your public key, and then your public key can be shared to anyone, but your private key is a confidential data which should be only present with you, and you should not reveal it to anybody. So and if you could see the arrow here, from your private key you can generate your public key. Okay, from your private key you can actually go ahead and try to generate your public key. And then, so there are two persons here. One will be the sender, the person who is going to send, and at the other end we will be having the receiver. So now sender is going to have his own private key. With the help of the private key, he's going to open his account, and then he's going to put the message, and then this sender is going to digitally sign the message whatever he's trying to send. So now when it goes to receiver, at the other end who is present, now the receiver is going to catch this public key, because to the receiver we can't send the private key, right? So receiver will be getting the public key, the message, public key, message, and then the signature. These three things will be done. Now many people may think that why this signature is being sent. Yeah, signature is in encrypted pattern, so it will not be revealed. Signature will be in an encrypted pattern. So I mean to say, like, you are not going to find out the exact signature of the sender. Okay, now here what is going to happen? So this receiver is going to verify that whether this person is the right person or not, because sometimes, yes, some scam transactions also happen. So in order to get rid of the scam transactions, so this receiver can verify whether it has come from the right sender or not. Okay, so you can see the public key, message, and signature. He can verify it. If it says yes, then he can take it up. If it is no, then he is going to decline the transaction. So you can also do this. Sender can actually try to open his account with his own private key. He can put the message, and then he is going to sign it. It will be in an encrypted pattern, and then these details, whatever is present here, right? Not all the details. Private key will not be shared. Public key will be shared to the receiver, and then the message, whatever this person has sent, the sender, and then the signature, which is in an encrypted pattern. So then the receiver is going to verify that whether all these three are right or not. So based on that, if it is right, then it is yes, he can accept this transaction. If not, he is going to decline the transaction. So that is the most important thing which you need to understand. So let me show this practically how it looks like here. So now from your private key or public key generates. Okay, based on your private key or public key generates. If you want, you can find out the change here. When I click on random, so this is your private key. Now when I click on this random function, see here, your public keys are getting generated. As I click on your private key, based on your private key or public key is getting generated. So this is how it gets generated. Now what I'm going to do is, let me say I can create my own customized private key. Let me say it is 1 2 3 4 5 6, whatever random numbers you're going to put it up. Based on that, it is going to generate your public key. Now for example, if I would say, in this case, this is my private key. Now based on my private key, my public key got generated. Yeah, this is fine. Now what is the next step? So when I go to signatures here, so when I just click on the signatures, now I'm going to put, now I am the sender. Okay, this is the sender's part, who is going to send. Let me say I want to send a message. Now that message would be, let me say 2 Bitcoin. Okay, let me say I want to say 2 Bitcoin. And this is my private key. Where did I get my private key? Because I have set my own private key as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. In the previous case you have seen that. So now I am going to click on this sign button. So this is how your signature is going to be captured in an encrypted pattern. So this is the sender's part. That means this is my part. Now if I want to send it to you, so you will be the receiver. Now this is a sender part which I have done my part. Now when this transaction goes to you, so what you are going to get? So you will be getting the public key, my signature, and then my message. But private key is not revealed here. Why? Because if that is revealed, then there is no purpose. Okay. So now you are going to click on this verify button. So you are going to verify that whether this transaction is the right transaction or not, which has been which I have done it or not. You are going to verify it. Let me click on this verify button. See, it turned into green color. Okay, it turned into green color, saying that yes, everything is appropriate here. Okay, so now let me say if somebody does any mistake, let me say I am just removing one character. Okay, I just removed it now. Now when I click on this verify, it just turned into red color, saying that something is wrong here. So in order to go ahead and accept this transaction, it will be risky for you, because this is not the right transaction. So now you will be getting to know that whether this is the right transaction or a wrong transaction. If everything is right, you will get a green color pop-up saying that everything is perfect. If not, it will throw like this, saying that you should not accept your transaction because there is something wrong in this transaction. So this is how you can actually try to find out how to check the transactions or how to verify the transaction as a receiver. Now as a sender, I can also do my part. If you could see here, sign, I can use my private key. I can create my own private key. Based on my private key, my public key gets generated. And then I click on this sign button and just completed my, I will try to complete my signature part. And then at the other end, the receiver is going to verify it. Simple. It is as simple as that. So if you really want to create your public key and private key, okay, if you really want to create your own public and private key, then you can create it going to bitaddress.org, and here you can create your own private and public key. Only thing what you need to do is you just need to move your mouse. Okay, see here, as I keep on moving my mouse, what is happening here? The percentage is increasing. As you keep on moving your mouse, it goes up to 100%, and once it goes to 100%, right, you will be able to create your own public and private keys. Let me show you that how it looks. So see here, yes, now I reached 100%. Let me see what it is trying to do here. I got my public key and as well as my private key. So when you go and purchase anything from a merchant, what you do, you take your mobile app and then you try to scan that particular QR code and then you are going to transfer it. So this is how you can use it. You are never going to share this secret key. Again, I'm repeating, you are never going to share this secret key. It will always be with you. You should never share it with anyone. So here, but if you could see this Bitcoin address, it can be shared because that is like your account number which can be shared to make sure that the transaction would be credited into your account. Now, whatever transaction I'm trying to say, right, where this will be stored, as I already said, there is a place called as a wallet. You can take that wallet and you can store inside that respective wallet. Okay, inside that respective wallet, you can go ahead and try to store all your cryptocurrency. It may be whatever coin it is, Bitcoin or Ether, or it may be your Litecoin, whatever it is. It's a wallet is a place where we are going to store all our cryptocurrencies. So this is how we can actually generate our public and private keys. It is nothing but it is an identification to make sure that people can actually try to do transaction with you. If you just say, hey guys, I'm Prashant, just do me Bitcoin transfer. No, right? That is not the way which we have to do it. So you need to have your own identity. You need to create your own public key and then your private key. Here, this is your public key, the one which is saying as Bitcoin address. Okay, so this is your public key, and if you could see here, this part is your private key. Whatever is being mentioned here, it is your private key, and this part is your public key. So this is how you can actually try to generate your own keys. Okay, I hope you have understood like whatever I have explained related to public and private keys. So let us recap like what we have done till now. So we have understood like how Bitcoin actually works as a global cryptocurrency. So as I already said, like Bitcoin had a lot of potentiality. So from the year 2008 to 2012, see the value it went. It's now one Bitcoin value is approximately 8 lakh rupee. You can just go and verify it. Okay, so that is how it has actually taken a very vital role, and this Bitcoin value is everywhere constant. In India, if you see, it is 8 lakh. If you sit in US, you see that it is 8 lakh, and if you sit in Australia, you see the value as 8 lakh, because it is a global cryptocurrency. It is gonna be applicable in all parts. Let me say, if you take the traditional Indian rupee and if you go to US, you have to convert that into dollar. If you go to any European country, you have to convert that into euros. But whereas this Bitcoin is global, wherever you go, this Bitcoin will be common. You may be in US, you may be in Australia or Europe, wherever it is. And then I explained about Bitcoin mining, how the mining happens, how to find out that key, and then I have shown you one Bitcoin tool which you can use it. But please make sure that when you try to use it, you have to be very careful where you are trying to use it. Okay, because it's gonna create some issues. So please be careful with that. And then later I have shown you like what are the wallets which you can use by using buybitcoinworldwide.com, where you can sit in your respective place and then you can use the payment mechanism what you want to use it, and then you can find out the list of wallets which are available in your country. And then along with that, I also have shown you about the local trading, how you can do local trading, how you can buy your bitcoins from a local trader, and how you can sell it off once you find out that there is a huge amount of profit which you are going to get. Then you can sell it off to the trader using the localbitcoins.com. And then later we discussed about the public and private keys. So how it acts like your account number, like how it traditionally how it acts like your account number, right? In the same way, your public and private key also behaves in the same pattern. It also takes consideration into like your public and your private key. So for example, if I would say your public key is nothing but it is your account number, your private key, when I try to consider, it is your password. And always remember, when I say always remember, please try to remember that point. Never ever you should share your private key with anybody. It should always be with you. It should not be shared with anyone, because that is the confidential data which should always be present with you. And then when you want to send certain amount of message or a money to other person, that means the receiver can verify it. So I have shown that in terms of practical, like how we can try to do that. And then later I also explained about how to generate your own public and private keys practically. So I hope you have understood all the concepts related to cryptocurrency part. That is the first application of the blockchain technology, which is we call it as Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was one of the first white paper which was written by Satoshi Nakamoto, whose identity is not revealed yet. So I hope all of you have understood it. So thank you. If you find this video useful, Please like and subscribe to our channel for more such videos, playlists and tutorials. Thank you.